Welcome to this explainer. Today we're taking a really grounded, practical look at a genuinely fascinating concept, the memory body. Have you ever wondered what actually bridges our conscious, everyday awareness and our physical flesh? Well, according to various esoteric traditions, there's a vital, completely unseen layer of our existence that acts exactly as that bridge. It's like a hidden architecture, and today we're going to explore this energetic blueprint in detail. Okay, let's dive right into this. First, we'll meet the memory body. Then, we'll break down the 4 layers of vitality, map out the etheric nervous system, explore spiritual restoration and grace, and finally, look at awakening your spiritual senses. I want to start by asking you a deeply relatable question. Why do we sometimes feel a tight, almost painful knot of physical tension from a purely emotional memory? Picture a totally normal 25-year-old, just wearing everyday clothes, walking through a really vibrant, bustling, beautifully detailed city. The atmosphere is totally serene. But suddenly, a specific scent wafts by, or maybe a certain song plays from a cafe, and their stomach just drops, or their shoulders instantly tighten up. They aren't in any physical danger whatsoever, right? Yet their body reacts as if they are. Why? Well, the framework we're exploring today suggests an objective, structural reason for this everyday phenomenon. Section 1, Meet the Memory Body, the Energetic Blueprint. To actually understand why our body reacts that way, we first need to look at the lower etheric body, which is commonly called the memory body. Imagine it as this serene, glowing blueprint sitting right alongside and interpenetrating our physical flesh. It's considered the absolute densest of our subtle bodies. It mirrors our physical form perfectly, but, and here's the kicker, it acts as a living, breathing archive. It records literally every single energetic impact we experience. It is essentially the crucial glue that keeps your soul connected to your physical form. In fact, these frameworks note that even during sleep or under anesthesia, when our conscious mind totally detaches, this memory body stays put. It's what keeps the heart beating and the lungs breathing. It is basically the ultimate battery for the physical self. Let's move to and see how this builds in Section 2, 4 layers of vitality, the living archive. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is that this living archive isn't just one big, vague cloud of energy. It systematically breaks down into 4 highly operational layers. First, you've got the blueprint layer. This is the architectural plan for every single cell and tissue. Health here literally means structural integrity. If a physical trauma distorts this blueprint, the physical body eventually reflects that. Next up is the vitality layer. This is the part that pulls in life force, prana or chi, from sunlight, air, and food, and it steps it down so your physical body can actually use it. Then we have the imprint layer, and this is exactly why it's called the memory body. Every intense shock, surgery, or sudden accident leaves an energetic scar or a knot right here, long after the physical flesh has completely healed up. Finally, there's the habitual layer. This holds the body minder, basically your automatic responses. It remembers how to walk, how to breathe, and how to react, making all those repetitive behaviors feel like second nature. Section 3, the etheric nervous system, or the wiring of the body. If we treat this esoteric anatomy with the same clear logic as, say, a biology or a wellness class, we have to ask, how does this energy physically travel around? Well, the answer lies in the nadis. Think of these as a vast, incredibly detailed network of microscopic channels. They act precisely like the physical wiring of a house, but for your etheric body. These wires carry life force directly into your physical nervous system. When you experience stress, those memories can create literal blockages in these channels. And when the wires are blocked, the result is incredibly tangible. It shows up as physical fatigue or that chronic, unexplainable tension you carry around in your everyday life. And this brilliantly illustrates how that internal wiring directly affects our outer defense system, which is known as the health aura or etheric web. On the left, we see a strong memory body. Notice how it acts like upright, vibrant hairs forming a solid protective shield. It actively repels external pollutants and negativity. But on the right, look at the weakened memory body. When someone is exhausted or holding onto trauma, this web literally droops. It just loses its charge, leaving the physical body completely, totally vulnerable to whatever happens to be floating around in its environment. It's a very mechanical, logical way of looking at our energetic health. Section 4, Spiritual Restoration and Grace, Cleansing the Vessel. So what do we do when this web droops and these old karmic seeds are just weighing us down? In these traditions, it's understood that while the mind remembers stories, the memory body stores vibrations. To clear them, metaphysical texts often refer to the Holy Spirit objectively as a divine solvent. It's described as an energy that penetrates those really tight knots in the etheric web, the crystallized memory of an old injury or a moment of sheer terror. By dissolving these blockages from the inside out, it releases tension right at its energetic root, which often gives a person sudden, extremely tangible physical relief. It essentially quickens the blueprint, overwriting the distorted memory with a memory of divine wholeness. Similarly, divine grace is viewed functionally as a massive supernatural recharge. When your natural resources are just totally depleted from navigating negative environments or maybe dealing with emotional vampires, grace steps in to act as a spiritual sealant. It literally patches the tears in that protective etheric web we looked at a minute ago. Even more remarkably, within this framework, it is said to neutralize and burn up dormant karmic seeds, those inherited, heavy patterns stored deep in the memory body, offering you a completely fresh start before those seeds can ever manifest as actual physical hardship. Now, the practical application of this restoration is a practice called soaking, and it's incredibly grounded. First, you simply rest in stillness. This quiet, undisturbed state is absolutely required for the memory body to receive an energetic update. Second, the light of presence washes through those nadis, remember the wires, flushing out all the sludge of stagnant habits. Finally, practitioners very often report experiencing real physical heat or a gentle trembling. In this model, that isn't just random. It's the actual, literal friction of high-frequency light meeting dense, lower-frequency stored memory. It's a clear signal that a deep release is happening. Furthermore, this restoration is said to be supported by angelic synchronization. In this specific view, angelic beings aren't just pretty figures in a Renaissance painting. They embody an uninterrupted memory of their divine source. Through prayer or alignment, which is sometimes called angelic resonance therapy, the human blueprint mirrors that harmonized frequency. It helps the memory body remember its own inherent peace, rather than constantly recalling its earthly traumas. Guardian presences act almost like architects, stabilizing your etheric body during extreme emotional or physical crises, making sure that the vital connection between your soul and body remains fully intact. So the crucial point is, how does this apply to us? Section 5, awakening your spiritual senses, intuition, and knowing. All of this abstract, esoteric structure actually translates directly into our everyday human experiences. When your memory body is clear, it acts as a highly sensitive, intuitive organ. Have you ever walked into a room and just instantly felt a vibe before a single person even spoke? Your conscious mind hasn't processed any actual data yet, but your memory body has already scanned the whole environment. It senses the energetic signature, the literal flavor of the room, and it translates that right back to your physical body. You experience this discernment as an undeniable physical contraction, like a tightness or a warm expansion in your solar plexus or your heart. It's a biological alert system, completely powered by energetic mapping. Which brings us to a really profound thought from the source texts. They suggest that when the blueprint is clear, divine guidance is felt as a knowing in the very fabric of the body, a still, small voice in the flesh. It's a sense of profound peace that completely bypasses logic, or maybe a physical stop signal that saves you from a bad decision. So I want to leave you with this question. How often are you actually listening to your own body knowing? The next time you get a sudden hunch or a gut feeling out of nowhere, remember, it might just be your memory body reading the room. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. Keep tuning in to those spiritual senses.